All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Night Train Precision YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over something that we discovered here. This is a SIG P226. This is actually one of my personal P226s. So let's dive into what's going on here. So this firearm, this particular one, has about 10,000, maybe 15,000 rounds, somewhere in there. It's hard to say, but it's got quite a few rounds on it. So if you remember, I did a video on this actually with the recoil spring here and what was actually wrong with that. But now we have another issue here, and the issue that this is having is that when you pull the trigger, not all the time, but some of the time, it strikes the primer but does not strike it hard enough, and that is a light strike. And so why are we having a light strike? What are the possibilities? What are the things that can happen here? So one of the things that can happen is that you can have a gun that doesn't go fully into battery here, like where the barrel is not fully into battery or fully seated. Very unlikely on a P226 though. And what would happen here is that you're out of battery and the firing pin can't come all the way forward and strike it. Now, you would have a lot of other issues if this was the case, and there are other things that could be going wrong in that same scenario. So if this is a problem that you're having, this one is definitely dangerous and needs fixed. But ultimately, this is not what's happening here. Also, with the design of the P226, it's very difficult for it to even be remotely possible that the gun has that sort of scenario. It's just not going to. It's not going to fire, or the firing pin's not going to come forward, period, if it's out of battery. So we know that that's not the problem. So, and I did that by checking this. It's within spec here. So what's actually happening? The two other things that can happen is that basically your safety disconnect that's right here, that goes up and down, that can get stuck, get dirt in it, or it could be worn. Or in a hammer fired gun like this, your spring or your hammer spring that's in here, which when I take this apart, I'll show you a little bit later. This spring right here can be weak, causing it when the gun goes off, it's not as strong, or the hammer is not hitting as hard as it should be. So ultimately, I did test this out right here with the safety disconnect. And what actually has happened is, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but basically my trigger bar is worn to the point where it's also worn a groove into the safety disconnect here. I think you can see that right here. It is not allowing the safety disconnect to be all the way disconnected by the time the hammer strikes the firing pin, and it's causing the firing pin to hang up in here. I've checked firing pin protrusion, which basically, to do that, you're going to push down on the safety disconnect and push the firing pin forward to see the protrusion here, but it's well within the spec there. So if you are having light strikes, these are things to look at, things to check. Most of the time, you're going to run into either your, especially on a striker fire gun, your striker spring is too worn, or you are having issues with your safety disconnect. So definitely be checking those out. Take these things to a qualified gunsmith if you can't diagnose the problem yourself, and get them fixed, because ultimately these are life-saving and life-depending tools, and if they're not working or functioning properly, they're not doing their job. So let me dive into here and show you maybe the hammer spring on this for a second, and then we can get back into the end of this video. All right, so right here is your hammer strut spring in a P226. It would be number 29 right here. As you can see in the breakdown, that is your hammer strut spring. If this gets weak, that's going to not allow this hammer to fly forward at the appropriate speed to hit the firing pin with enough force in order to strike the round properly. So that is your synopsis here on the P226. Hopefully this video was educational for you. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned to the Night Train Precision YouTube channel in the future. Thank you.